Eliog a Guinea Cór, yn geidal sios mahan hen, ag sama fan Céilí Saivin, fóche Céilí ro Filiog. Agus is íntaach an colúdar táin, an átiad san, an méid atá dianta ácáir san cuasaí cultúrcha din tíirse. Áhas an dánaram go réis sin an siacht, agus áhas an dánaram go raibh an tólinn Flynn, aimsear agus fiú go raibh an bostach ag bácartar near hálach sé. May I just say how pleased Sabina and I are that you're all able to join us this evening from all over the country, wherever you have come from, members of community groups or as family members or as friends. My Ton Cosúlach there, I think that it looks like as if you're all enjoying it yourselves, and I'm very, very pleased about that. Rodélia agus tá sé tábhacht dom héin mar úachtar an héireann, an méid daoine a bhí ag an Gaeilge in úsad achas an agus mit a casa leop. Cuinn sin glendar cuireach sin glendar crí éine bhfuil simacha cuasaí Gaeilge, cuasaí cultúr na tíire. An chuoine bhfuil an Gaeilge i leathanúd tríd na glónta nós na carcha agus amach tríd an tír. I'm just saying that how pleased it is to hear the Irish language being so widely used in the cities and across the country. And very much I want to say to all of you who are not only interested in music and in our culture generally, but also the particular work you are doing for the Irish language, because they are very much go together. I very much welcome you to our events this evening. We were celebrating many different groups and organisations and indeed individuals who have been contributing to our Irish music and arts across the country, and particularly through the rich and constantly evolving medium of Irish traditional music. I'm delighted to welcome members of Scoil Willie Clancy, the Willie Clancy Summer School of Milton Malbay. Thank you, Brad. I was very much minded when I saw you coming in. But way back, it seems now like such a long time ago, more than 25 years, when I was Minister for Arts, Culture and the Gaeltacht, and when I was debating with Colm O'Brien, my advisor, we had a huge myriad of requests for assistance with different summer schools. And I gave the first grant to the Willie Clancy Summer School in 1993-94. And I remember talking to Mirish O'Rourke about this. And the basis I did it was what was different to that summer school and all of the others was that it was doing something very, very important. There was part of the summer school enabled people to, as they might say, renovate their instruments and the pipes and so forth. And that was so important. And let's say another thing that is very important, how since that time, Cuasaí Pibreachta, everything in relation to the pipes has improved. And coming in Beebery, but people are making pipes and people like that. And the young people that I pay tribute to pipers we've had here during our sessions, it's just wonderful. That's good news. And of course, the Willie Clancy School is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, Trisliam Low. I should tell you that Brode is an advanced stage of 10 years and 5 months, and he's getting impatient with his contributions. But thank you, Brode. I also Firkin Fólseach go ahead with Cultus Ceoil, and one of the very first events I did way back in my first presidency was to visit Cultus Ceoil, and for all their work, not only in Erin or Carlar, but what they're doing all over the world, my congratulations to them. Now, Brode, Ledahay. Now, I should say as well that these garden parties this year are particularly important. We had no escape from it, but we had to postpone these kosher and Norris and Uchtron for 2 years, but we're back. I also want to say that during COVID, it isn't only that we had to postpone, but also we lost some of our finest music makers during COVID. I do want to pay tribute again to Dennis Cahill, whom we recently lost, Dennis. brought a unique, innovative style to his guitar playing, which was always deeply conscious of the essence of traditional Irish music. He'll be best remembered for his collaboration with Martin Hayes, both as a duo and within the group The Gloaming. And then we also lost during the year Paddy Maloney of the Chieftains, accordion player, Tony McMahon, and Paddy Maloney. His skills were just extraordinary as an instrumentalist, notably not with the uilleann pipes and the bodhrán, but he was at the forefront, it's fair to say, of the renaissance of interest in Irish music. And what's more, introduced whole new populations to Irish music and culture internationally. And any of us who knew him knew Tony McMahon, one of Ireland's iconic presences among musicians, bringing to performance in so many forms, places and venues, the talent of a maestro. And we had wonderful arguments with him as well, because there were even the arguments, agus nene conspóideach with the Fleadh, they were very, very brilliant always. So I know I'm not alone in pausing to consider too, why it is that music matters so much to us Irish, why we place such a high cultural value in music, and why is it that music features so central in our history, in our cultures? Why does it continue to the present day to be such a deep source of emotional sustenance, resonating profoundly with so many of us from all walks of life, at all ages, in a glúntaí éasúile, at home and abroad? I think it is incredibly important that despite pressures, the music, and it is very interesting, you have been speaking in Irish and the importance I attach to the Irish language. But it was interesting that even the language, which was forbidden, and we must never forget that, but music refused to be quenched, wherever the opposition came, be it from state or clerical sources. Not only that, it didn't just survive, but it travelled and was enhanced and came back enriched. Language may have had a different fate because it was associated with very much like Éiliún Vachtanis communicates and it. For those who went abroad, it was very much associated with, you had to learn another language to escape from poverty. But the music was unquenchable. And as I have just said, every place it travelled, it was appreciated, but also came back enriched. The answers to these fundamental questions about the importance of music are complex, but it's very clear that music plays a hugely intrinsic part in Irish life, a vital form of expression, maybe the most powerful, enabling us to make connections with the things that are gone, to tell our own stories, to reflect on every aspect of life, love, the pursuit of happiness, and to come together, whether within families, among friends, or in significant occasions. And it isn't only the positives in many, many cases. I don't think we could ever be beaten internationally for sorrow, which is informed so much of our music. But I think from its ability to affect our emotions and memories, to the way it has no borders, it unites people. And it's perhaps the universal lingua franca, because you'll find that people who appreciate their music in different parts of the world are automatically almost open to communicating their culture and so on. So music remains one of the most valuable connections that we have of a wider world, a world without borders, and a world of peace, and a world of creativity. It is a wire through which we resonate with the outside world in all its aspects and peoples, and how we need this at a time when we have returned again to war. The status of the composer and of music. That's another interesting thing that has moved through history, and that is, in the long history of Ireland, whatever part of Ireland you're in, was the status that was accorded to the composer, as I like to phrase myself, the music maker. It is an ancient and honorific status. I think that in the annals of the Four Masters, the death of Cúchungal, the priest of Lán Léire and Tetra, and it's very interesting, the title he had at that time in ancient Ireland was Orator of Ireland for voice, personal form and knowledge, Siocht. And there are all these records there of people who were honoured in their passing because of the contribution they were made, the status they held in the society. We have an extraordinary body of unique and brilliant Irish art and artistry. Powerful songs, moving melodies, laments that draw on the deepest emotion, playful tunes. But the beauty, the joy, and the irrefutable cultural importance of what our musicians give to us, our music makers, is, I think, immeasurable. In COVID times, for example, I felt very, very much is that our performance, in all the speeches I've made in cultures I've been president, I've been trying to emphasize the importance of performance and the performer. And everyone knows that about every time a tune is played, it is in fact a new arrival in the world. But over the course of the pandemic, artists were cut off from their audiences, unable to fulfill very many creative aspirations. Yes, it is true. Some were able to use the enforced quietude of COVID to maybe make new compositions and so forth. But I think it was a very unnatural and challenging time for artists and musicians whose natural place is always a Lauren generation and Cheoil. This evening I suggest that we might see the special occasion maybe beyond ourselves this evening for all to think and pay tribute and send our spirit and best wishes to all performers and musicians all over to Ireland. We are back again, and may artists and musicians always be, as I have said, Elora Enoch. And musicians, when they are performing, are always giving, I think, that other concept that is very, very important. There is something beyond the self in it. The combination of the performer and the instrument creates a kind of transcendental moment that is very important. Indeed, it is very special. The moment when the instrument and the musician have become one, and the joy of music is released into the world. And it is through music that we're enabled to celebrate and to mourn and to dance and to sing and to come together and to encounter all the aspects of ourselves that are irrepressible. And we can be very proud of our distinctive and unique culture. Irish musical history is a rich and proud one, having remained vibrant through all kinds of challenges and through the recent centuries. And as I have said, in those who have emigrated and went abroad, often with very little but bringing their musical instruments with them. And they contributed to other people's music, and both were enriched. And that is why I'm so proud of the importance that we have attached always to promoting traditional Irish music, particularly across the country. And what's more beyond that as well, any narrow definitions of that, we have a very proud emerging Irish music scene. I listen to it very much, and to listen and look at new young performers. It doesn't matter whether it is folk or country or pop or rock or hip hop or whatever. And I see something very interesting in these new expressions, and that is that they are beyond any repression. There is a kind of use of freedom in the music and in the way that they deliver it that is something so exciting. But this evening, I just want to take the opportunity this evening of those who are with us this evening. Our wonderful performers, Harpist Siobhan Flynn, TheBonny men, John Francis Flynn, the Kilfenora Céilí band. And I do want to say as well, there's a particular kind of voice that is particularly suitable. And then is our brilliant MC, Kieran Hanrahan, this evening, a renowned musician in his own right, but also a wonderful, a familiar voice to us from hosting Radio 1's Céilí House. I think that all of them, Iatsa Galir, Banach Globe, August, Tom with Vidoglobe, Akahere, they had Carolins and Kosher Coraford. So I just want to say on my own behalf that this evening's event, like so many others in the resumed series of koshers of events that we have at Oris and Outron, it wouldn't be possible without the support of the wonderful staff of the household through the OPW staff who work here at Oris and Outron. their wonderful effort that they make, beyond in fact just enabling it to happen with the treats that you have been inviting. So, Turbula Bosto, busy at Sana and making contact with you all through the complex that is now social media and your ability to have several addresses and some to be impenetrable. I do want to thank the Secretariat who have been responsible for organising all of that. Now there's somebody tonight who is from Arcana who's responsible for sound and technica. And that is somebody who Sabina and I for a long time called Wilshire. Johnny Donnelly is over there. He's getting younger every day. There he's over there. He himself has made a very distinctive contribution to performance over the years. We've been assisted by the Civil Defence St. John of God's, the Defence Forces, on Garda Síochána and volunteers in Gashka. Muvwikas lo biliogas and Carahok shit, do near one knocked a harn that na shocked and you're been weak to na kosher rash. So this evening let us celebrate Irish music in all its forms. After these 2 years of silence imposed on us, when we've had to forego so much, we're all back and we're gathered together by le Céilí on Cheoil. I thank you all for joining Sabina and for this very special presidential con. Mille buigas per Winchana Vasani has per back.